former Afghan diplomat Omar Samad, he joins us now live. Thanks so much for being with us. We know how brutal insurgent attacks can be in Afghanistan, but the succession of these and the fact that mothers and their newborn babies were killed so indiscriminately, how horrendous is this escalation?
It's horrendous, and it puts Afghanistan in a very precarious situation overall. A country that has gone through decades of warfare, has seen a lot of bloodshed over the years, and this is a new stage from what we see. I think that it's important to put everything into perspective, into context. We need to really be very careful as we move forward, either on the fighting side or on trying to build peace or find some third way of dealing and managing the Afghan crisis. There are political issues, there are security issues, as you mentioned, there's an economic problem that the country faces, and obviously there's the pandemic. So we have a combination, complex issues to deal with, and I think that all sides have to be very, very careful from here on.
You know, it makes it look very ironic to have heard the United States kind of hail the success and the progress of peace talks with the Taliban, because in spite of those peace talks, the Taliban continues to attack almost indiscriminately. Honestly, what kind of negotiating partner is this really going forward? Are these genuinely talks for peace?
There are talks and about peace in the future, something that never existed in the last 20 years or so. They are not perfect. I call them like sort of a Swiss cheese phenomena. It has holes in it. It's the best that so far all sides have been able to deal with. Now, when we generalize and we say that such a group did this, we have to be very careful. There are 20 or so terrorist groups inside Afghanistan and around Afghanistan that are operating. We have to be very careful as to how we investigate, how we go about trying to figuring out whether it's a spoiler or whether it's an active actor for one reason or another and what motivates them. We have to be very careful. Otherwise, I think if we head in the wrong direction, this could be more hurtful to the Afghan people. In my view as an Afghan, I don't want the Afghan people to get hurt because of bad intentions, bad motivations, bad policy, bad strategy, or spoilers who try to take advantage of a situation. So we have to be very careful moving forward.
Right. So speaking of strategy, in response, particularly to the maternity ward attack, President Ghani said the military now needs to transition from defensive mode to offensive mode to fight insurgents. How might that manifest then on the ground, and do you think it's the right call?
Well, I'm not sure if it's going to make much of a difference if we look back at the past 20 years. We have had many offensive periods and modes in Afghanistan in the past 20 years, including the last 5 years where Mr. Ghani has flip-flopped on and off from offensive to defensive to peace, wanting peace, not wanting peace. I think what we need is consensus on the Afghan side, on what they call the Republican side, on how to deal with peace and war in Afghanistan and get our allies on board and make sure that the region is also part of the process moving forward, and sitting down with those who claim that they have also some kind of a strategy. So overall, I think that if you want to take the path of war, it has to be thoughtful, it has to be inclusive, it has to be based on consensus, and it has to take the best interests of the country at heart.
Okay, Omar Samad, thank you so much for joining us here from Washington. We appreciate it.